October 6, 2025, at exactly 0023, two bright fireballs tore through the night sky above Saki Airport in Nova Feodosia, located on the western coast of the Crimean Peninsula. This was no ordinary attack. It was the opening note of a massive, carefully orchestrated operation aimed at crippling Russia's southern flank. When the sirens began blaring at the Russian Black Sea Fleet Command Center in Sevastopol, the radar screens lit up with dozens of targets approaching from the west and north of the peninsula. Each dot that appeared on the screen was a threat. This was the sound of an army of 63 unmanned aerial vehicles and 3 missile drones, each serving a different purpose, taking off from different points in Ukraine. The Russian Lieutenant General in command of the Integrated Air Defense System, IADS, in Crimea did not hesitate. He gave the order, "Engage all targets!" This was exactly the reaction the Ukrainian planners had anticipated. S-400 batteries, Pantsir S-1, and Tor M1 systems launched a missile barrage that lit up the sky. However, each interceptor missile launched was a step toward closing the trap's steel jaws. Most of these missiles were heading toward a trap. The backbone of this first wave was 48 low-cost, high-speed, small-payload decoy UAVs. These platforms were more of an economic and psychological argument than a weapon. They were mass-produced, simple designs with composite bodies that absorbed rather than reflected radar waves, modified commercial drones, and even less sophisticated platforms like the aging UJ-22 Airborne, reconfigured for one-way missions. Their tasks were simple but vital: to saturate the Russian air defense system, deplete its valuable interceptor missiles, and most importantly, force it to reveal itself. As the air defense batteries around Saki and Kacha airfields, Sevastopol, Simferopol, and Yevpatoria picked off this swarm of decoys one by one, each successful hit was actually a strategic loss. More importantly, each missile launch provided Ukraine's signals intelligence, SIGINT, units with an invaluable data package: the battery's exact location, the frequency range of its engagement radar, and its reaction time. Russian air defense was mapping itself. Russian generals began preparing their reports, believing they had successfully repelled a major attack. But this was merely a diversion. What was actually happening was akin to a chess master deliberately allowing his opponent to see all his potential moves. The real hunters were approaching silently and low, in the electronic and physical shadows created by this chaos. The Russian air defense network had swallowed the bait and fallen into the trap. The corridors were now open for the main strike force. Behind this veil of chaos, from a secret launch site near Odessa, the deadliest hunters of the night began their journey of approximately 300 kilometers. 2 heavy Peklo missile drones and 4 UJ-26 Bober drones carrying 50-kilogram warheads. Simultaneously, 4 lighter AQ-400 sides took off from a point closer to the Kherson front line. The genius of the plan was based on flawless timing that would allow these platforms, with their different speeds and ranges, to converge over the target within seconds after a flight of hundreds of kilometers. Traveling at approximately 200 kilometers per hour, the Bober's journey would take nearly 2 hours. The Peklo, reaching speeds of 700 kilometers per hour, would reach the target in 35 to 40 minutes. Therefore, the slower Bober missiles were launched much earlier, their timing perfectly synchronized with the arrival of the Peklo and Scythe missiles. This was a 4-dimensional battle plan designed to make the enemy's decision-making cycle impossible, going beyond simple timing. At 1:45, the main striking force was approaching the western coast of Crimea. To evade radar, they were advancing just 30 to 50 meters above the sea surface, surfing between the waves. This altitude meant they were below the radar horizon of Russia's main air defense radars, such as the 91N6E Big Bird system in the S-400. For these radars, these low-flying drones were simply not there due to the curvature of the Earth. As they approached the peninsula, a Krasuka 4 system in the area created a wide-spectrum GPS jamming zone. Systems like Krasuka 4 could create a jamming bubble over hundreds of square kilometers, completely blinding global navigation satellite systems, GNSS, like GPS. This was a deadly threat to a standard UAV or missile. However, these platforms were designed for this very moment. The flight computers instantly rejected the corrupted satellite signal and switched to the primary guidance system, the Inertial Navigation System, INS. This was one of the most critical moments of the plan. Russia's biggest trump card, electronic warfare, was rendered ineffective with a single software command. Using high-precision ring laser gyroscopes and accelerometers, They continued to maintain their course with millimeter precision, even without GPS. They were flying blind, but they were not lost. As the smokescreen closed, the real striking force of the operation took center stage. This was not a random attack, but a surgically precise operation designed to paralyze the Russian logistics ecosystem, fuel transportation, ammunition in Crimea. Before reaching the main target, the supporting elements had to be eliminated. The first surgical strike of the operation was directed at the Ivazovskaya train station, the railway artery leading to the logistical heart of Feodosia. This station was a critical junction where fuel from the oil terminal was loaded onto railway tankers and sent to the front. 3 AQ-400 Sive UAVs, modified with 30-kilogram warheads that were lighter but more penetrating, were directed at this target. While air defenses were focused elsewhere, these 3 drones infiltrated at low altitude. The first UAV targeted the station's administrative building and signaling center, crippling command and control. The other 2 physically damaged the railway tracks by targeting the switches and rails. Although the attack did not cause a major fire, it achieved its objective. The railway connection between the Feodosia terminal and the southern front was severed. Simultaneously, another deadly package was approaching a different target deep inside Crimea. This target was the main ammunition depot belonging to the 18th Combined Arms Army fighting on the Kherson and Zaporizhia fronts. The force assigned to this attack consisted of 4 specially modified UJ-26 Bober and 1 Peklo missile drone. Instead of standard warheads, the Bober drones were equipped with 50-kilogram powerful explosives that increased their destructive power many times over, albeit at the cost of slightly reduced range. The air defense's attention was still distracted by the decoy targets. The striking force infiltrated at low altitude. The first Bober breached the perimeter defense of the storage area and plunged into one of the main buildings. Seconds later, the other Bober missiles, and finally the Peklo missile drone, with its massive 120-kilogram warhead, struck the target. Peklo's imaging guidance, activated in the terminal phase, used preloaded satellite images to identify the point where ammunition boxes were most concentrated and directed its strike there. The result was, in a word, apocalyptic. Hundreds of tons of artillery shells, Grad rockets, and S-300 missiles detonated simultaneously. A massive fireball lit up the night sky, and the seismic shockwave was felt kilometers away. In a single night, the 18th Army's fist was not broken. It was vaporized. While all these attacks were taking place, the spearhead of the operation was making its final approach to the lifeblood of Crimea, the Feodosia Sea Oil Terminal. This package, consisting of a total of 10 platforms, including 4 AQ-400 Scythe, 30-kilogram warhead, 4 UJ-26 Bober, 50-kilogram warhead, and 2 heavy Peklo missile drones, 120-kilogram plus warhead, was designed to stop Russia's war machine in the south. Due to the general state of alert on the peninsula, the lower-tier air defense around the terminal, systems like Pantsir, opened fire. A Pantsir battery locked onto an approaching Bober, and a 57 E-6 missile, capable of speeds of approximately 1,300 meters per second, was launched into the night sky. For the operator, this was a successful interception. He was in control. However, as the missile progressed toward its target,